There we go.
And this is the part where I say something really intelligent about intelligent talk and animation and very artistic, and how we're all brethren and under the same flag. And there it was. So that's your intro. So welcome to what we're calling the Indie Animators Roundtable March 2021 Maskless Quarantine Edition. So these guys over here are all my friends. This is it. This is all I need. But there might be one more joining, but we're good for now. I guess we'll go around. Let's do this clockwise and introduce ourselves. Just a really brief introduction, so anybody tuning in knows who we are. And Joe, you start it, and then we'll end up back with me.
Yeah, sure. Joe, here he is.
Hey guys. There comes Mr. Chaos himself. Paul. So,
are you Control?
Hello, Paul. We're just doing an intro. So, Joe, you go right ahead, sir.
I'm Joe Donaldson of Long Beach, California. Animation, I got into through. I did like stand up for a split second. I never made a dime doing it, and then that was hard because I was commuting from Long Beach to Los Angeles, and then I started making goofy videos where I was like a character on YouTube, and then that sucked because I couldn't get a crew together. And then I was like, you know what? I saw a video with this guy Carson Mell, and in the interview he was like, I taught myself animation because I was making these short films and it was hard to get a crew together because everyone's got a full-time job out of college. And I was like, that's the exact same scenario I was in. And then he's like, I taught myself this rudimentary animation. And I was like, I'm going to do exactly that. And so I did, and I made a couple goofy animations. And that was fun, but it took me a while to make like a 7-minute animation. It took me like, gosh, too long. So in the meanwhile, I started doing children's books, and that's pretty much what I'm doing full time these days is children's books, illustration, spot illustrations for a small apparel line that I have, and then working like the convention circuit, doing like smaller various conventions and such. But
that was before the plague.
Before the plague, yeah. Last year was rough, but I got a lot done. I was productive.
The lines were a lot shorter last year, though. That's good.
Yeah.
To get in.
But
so
yeah.
Well, excellent. I discovered your stuff. I don't know if you discovered mine first or I discovered yours, but when I saw your stuff, I was amazed. I was like, this is really cool. So we'll talk to you more about that. So let's
Where do we find it? Where do we find it? I'm sorry if I came in late.
On the internet.
Oh,
okay, gotcha. There, I'll look there.
Thank you. Jim. My stuff on Instagram, but you can see it on YouTube. White Hippo USA is my.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
Goofy, non-existent, tiny production company name. But
I follow
my stuff.
Yeah, and he had a field day with the last election, so.
Yeah, I also do a lot of political illustrations. That's also part of my day job.
Yeah, so he won't be working for the Trump family anytime soon. So, unfortunately. So sorry, out of a job.
I like to think of myself as an equal opportunist.
There you go. There's your
satirist.
Yeah, your stuff's really, really, really cool. And your illustration style is just amazing as well.
Oh, thanks, Jim. You're a sweetheart.
It's look at that, beautiful.
You're sort of a retrospective. This one right here. I don't know if you can see my cursor. The middle one with the Ku Klux Klan was kind of a big deal for me, and that it got published, and
wow.
Anytime anyone wants to, it's a lot of that kind of nonsense.
Yeah, that's good. So, so jumping in, we said speaking of militia, jumping in from Michigan, Our favorite Michigan lander. I'm glad you got
This
to join
close
Paul.
to I was this close to kidnapping the governor.
Shot away.
Practice makes perfect, Paul.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Yes. So, Paul, tell
We just
tell
had a bunch of
folks
people
a
from
little bit.
Langley tune into the show.
What's that, Corey?
So we just had a bunch of people from Langley tune into the show. Hit some
Welcome.
algorithm triggers.
Right.
and that's how tonight went. Paul, tell us a little bit about your animation and who you are in case somebody doesn't know.
I'm Paul Pate, and about, 5 years ago, Jim, I saw Jim's animation and was like, oh man, I really like this, and I think I could do something like this. And so I started, and I've learned, and with Jim's help. And so my first animation went into a film festival and won an award, so I was flying high after that, and but haven't been
Setting the
back.
bar really high, Paul.
Yeah, I know, right? I haven't been back since. So, but I like to do just kind of independent animation.
And you also come from the illustration world, just like Joe.
Yeah. I mean, like right now, I'm working on a comic book, and then a kid's comic after that, and I'm always doing different things. But actually, I want to do my next animation is going to be a thing called Samurai Tie, and I want to do, like I like Dominic's animation, the love. What was the name of the film, Dominic? The dating one. Lovesick.
Cool. Yeah.
The style and the because as an independent animator you can't do animate on the ones, as they say, or so you gotta find a way to get this get decent art, but still get through it so it doesn't take you forever, right? So anyway, but I want to do a samurai story and with a lot of action. So, like Dominic, I know yours had a lot of the one thing I picture right now is at the end the girl was doing yoga or something. Or remember that scene?
Yeah, there was some yoga going on.
Yeah. I mean, it's like that. Like the artwork, the animation was pretty simple. Yet the action was, there was a lot of action to it. So I like that.
I love that movie.
Yeah, I like that, but I want to do it in a samurai story. So anyway, that's my next
Not
thing.
action, but
What's that?
I didn't have too much action in it, but
Well, I mean, the little bit that you did, it worked well, I thought.
yeah, I think we all have to do that where like the staging has to tell the story, which is probably it's better off that way anyway. Like
Right.
So Dominic, speaking of Love is Sick Fool, in case somebody hasn't seen it, tell us a little bit about it, which is amazing, by the way.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, it was really great.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm Dominic Balcino, and my background is mostly Fox shows like Simpsons, and I also directed Rick and Morty. But my own project was called Love Sick Fool, and it's on Amazon Prime. And I'm currently trying to pitch some other things and making short bits to pitch, which is kind of what I want to talk to you guys about, because that's just curious of everybody's like pathway to doing that kind of thing, and trying to be creative in the midst of the COVID crisis. But I think
Can people right now they can watch it on Amazon Prime, but they can buy it on Amazon Prime as well?
oh yeah, it used to be free. I guess the Amazon changes it however they like, and now you pay a couple bucks for it. But yeah, I quit my job for a couple years and just worked on it, and it's limited animation, but it's I think it tells the story well. And,
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible.
mind,
It has the
if you
late
don't-
Fred Willard in it too. I think.
it has Fred Willard, Lisa Kudrow, and Janine Garofalo who are willing to give it a try. I wanted to pitch it. I did pitch it as a series, but that didn't work. So it's just a one-off, 45-minute.
Very, very cool. So Corey, the reason that you can see us and we're in these rectangles or squares today, Corey, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, Corey?
Where are you guys pointing?
I'm trying to point at
I'm
you.
giving Jim a wet willy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'm kind of one of those jack of all trades, master of none guys. So I don't know. A couple of years ago, I decided to get into animation. I think two or 2.5 years ago. And so I taught myself how to do After Effects and failed miserably at doing an animated short during the 100 days that I gave myself to do that. And since then, I've done a couple. I've won Put Your Heart Into It. It's won a number of awards and went kind of did the international film circuit on all the different film festivals and stuff. So I think I played in most continents that are populated. And then I make a bunch of just kind of random weird stuff that I like to throw up on Instagram. It's little looping things and stuff like that. I'm in the middle of doing an animated music video right now, and I've got 2 episodes out of a new series I'm working on, and I've been waiting to get back to the 3rd. But Jim interrupted me and wanted to collaborate on something, so I did that. We just finished that thing, and then I got this gig, so I got to do that too. But I teach full time during the day, so I only have about 20 hours a week to do what I want to do.
All that, and you have a series that you're working on too.
Yeah, so EndoXO, first 2 episodes of that are out, and I you'll laugh at this, Jim, but I was working on this music video, and I'm doing as a background element, I'm doing this airship, and I was just having so much fun. I based the sail design off of Chinese junk, ancient Chinese junks, and I was having so much fun unfolding and folding those that now I want to do a whole short around just an airship crew, a really quirky kind of steampunk crew, but not hardcore, have them just be kind of goofy, and then not have them really know how to run the ship well, just because I want to animate all the ropes and stuff. I just think it'd be fun to have them messing things up and almost falling out of the sky a bunch.
Corey's animation heaven is my animation hell.
We are photo negatives of each other on what we're doing in animation. So
You have a little sample like you gave with everyone else?
Yeah, you can.
I just love myself, but it's an interesting, it's like a frog walking or something. It's very weird looking, very great. Kind of heavy metal.
Oh yeah, that's my short. That's cichlid. They're all in that one. They're all bugs. So I'll throw this up here.
What program are you using for that?
I use to illustrate. I use whatever. So that's Photoshop or Illustrator, or sometimes I'll do it on my iPad and do Autodesk Sketchbook, and then the rest of it is After Effects. So this is some stuff, and this one I'll mute it. This one is that's the short that won some awards and stuff. So there's that one, and then this is EndoXO, which is about now it's taken me so long to get this out that now I feel like this isn't as groundbreaking, but it's about the algorithms kind of taking over. It's post-apocalyptic, but the apocalypse is that people just got tired of reality and jumped into online stuff, and the algorithms took over and automated everything.
Nice.
And then I do some political stuff too. This is the First Amendment being beaten by the police while he explains what the First Amendment is.
Oh wow.
So
these are all on Vimeo. We can watch them.
Yeah. These, if you just go to coreykerr.com/animations, I have them all up.
They look great.
Yeah, and you can find them on Vimeo as well. And I think most of them are on YouTube. And
because Corey's probably on the government watch list, that means we're probably all on the government watch list now.
Yeah, I probably should have told you that beforehand.
Yeah. So.
Well, most independent animators are.
Yeah, I would imagine.
It's just
It's
nice to be
really
wanted.
not worth your salt if you're not.
Right.
I'm glad somebody is wanting us. That's all I care about.
Yeah, right.
I'll tell you something.
My biggest fan.
Negative way, yeah, that's fine.
I'll tell you a funny one is this one. I came up with this script before Trump started, railing against the election as if it was rigged or whatever. And it's about replacing Congress with micro battle bots instead of congressmen. And it got flagged by Instagram and YouTube. They both said that it was spreading misinformation.
Excellent.
So,
Yeah. I'm really sorry.
So Congress is not a bunch of battle bots.
yeah, they would be about as effective, I think, if they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they are anymore.
Wow.
But
so
I
you just
that
came
was-
up with this ridiculous story,
Yeah,
and then it came true, and you got flagged.
I was like, wouldn't it be funny if just our entire democracy fell apart and was replaced with reality TV? And then it turns out that's actually not that funny.
It could never happen, ever.
Right.
So,
But yeah, I thought that would be an interesting viewing for C-SPAN is just watching robots fight each other. So
That'd be awesome.
yeah, Corey's the real deal, animator. I'll do a quick intro of my stuff, and then we'll get knocking here. But I'm Jim Lujan. I'm an independent animator. I have like 30 or 40,000 animations out there, I'm sure. I've done shorts, features, music videos, a couple of series, tons of stuff on YouTube. It's all there for free. And I have right now I have 3 projects on Amazon, and that's another thing I want to talk about. It's kind of I'm at the point where now what? Now they're on Amazon, but now what? That's a ton of stuff on there. A lot of music online too, from the films and other. But yeah, you can check my stuff out at jimluhan.com.
What are the 3 things on Amazon?
What's that?
What are the 3 things that are on Amazon right now?
I have a series, a 10 episode series called Master Freak Theater. That I did. It's basically like an anthology series, collecting my stuff. I have Revengeance with Bill Plimpton. I forgot to mention. I made a film with Bill Plimpton. That's a huge highlight. I forgot to mention. But that's on Amazon, and then my own film, Infinity Pool, is on Amazon now. So I'm really excited about that. So that's been really nice because it's like a destination site for me. So it's a whole lot of stuff. It just keeps going and going. Wow. But
That's insane. Your catalog.
it's actually the same 3 videos.
Amazing.
I just put new titles on them.
Prolific.
you just changed the thumbnail.
Yeah, I keep reposting them.
Oh, how much do you work on this stuff? I mean, how much time do you put in? Because you do so much stuff.
You know what? I just don't watch a lot of TV, and I'll when like right now I just started a project a week ago, and like today I worked on it in the morning. I worked on it for like an hour, and then I haven't touched it all day, and I had worked on it in like 2 days before that, and then like when I get home, I'll work on something for like 40 minutes or an hour, just here instead of watching TV, and it just chip away. And then I always say to folks, find a work method that will get you results that you can get stuff done with, because that's key. I'm living proof of that. If my method, like if I tried to do Corey's method, I would have probably 1 animation done in all this time, because he's good at his method. He can work fast in his method, but for me, it's not the way my brain thinks. So that's
It's nice of you to pretend like I have a method and that I'm not just like have no idea what's going on and I'm making it up as I go along.
Well,
I like calling that a method. That's
it's
a
like
good way to do it.
that old saying. They say, "How do you eat an elephant?" And I say, "Don't eat an elephant. Make animation instead."
So basically, what Jim's saying is every waking moment he's doing animation.
Yes,
Right.
I'm doing animation right now with my feet.
You don't watch TV. What else don't you do? Yeah.
I do watch TV. In fact, we watched a Marlon Brando, Elizabeth Taylor movie right now that was bizarre. So now I watch TV. I just don't watch like I always joke with my friends. Like they'll come to me and they'll say, "Hey, have you been watching Front Assault?" I'm like, "No." Did you watch Spoon Fork? I'm like, "No." Oh, did you watch? And it's like all these series I've never heard of. And then every time you go to Amazon to click, oh, that looks interesting. You click on it, and it's like one of 15 episodes of the 4th season. And I'm like, I'll never catch up with that. So I just don't. I don't know. I don't have time to watch all that stuff. But I do watch some things. But it's just you got to manage your time. That's all.
And yet another example of being on the flip side of Jim. I have 2 TVs in my studio, just in case if I'm facing my drawing board or if I'm facing my computer, I can have the TV on.
Yeah. Do you don't watch TV though when you're writing or when you're?
Oh, I can't. No, I can't do anything while I'm
Yeah,
writing. Sometimes I can listen to music, but most of the time I'm writing in silence.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, when I'm doing technical stuff, if I'm doing like expressions that involve math, which is not my strong suit, I have to like ask everyone in my home to leave because I can't be distracted at all. But other than that, I can like turn stuff on and if I'm just
Salazar Art Nation just asked me if Lars Lazarus is on Amazon yet. So I get to answer that question, but it's really a secret self-promotion that I can mention Lars Lazarus, a film.
You're like secretly messaging.
Yeah, Frank. You're texting Frank.
I'm Salazar Art Nation. I'm texting. Wow, Jim Luhan's cool. No, not yet. I will submit it, but it's not on there yet. One of the things I wanted to ask you guys, and I definitely, like Dominic said, I want to get into like if we've pitched our stuff or how we've pitched our stuff, but I also want to find out if you guys in your animation do you usually collect the voices first, or do you do the artwork first, or do you have a script and then record all the dialogue first and then animate to that? How do you normally do it? Like, let's say Joe. Let's start with you.
Yeah, I don't want to say do all the animation first, certainly not, but I block out my work. So if I have a scene, I'll probably break everything up into scenes, and then with the animation mostly done, with the only thing that needs to be completed is the mouth movement and like the head gesturing and that sort of thing. I do 90% of my own voices, and then just manipulate it in Audition, and then I can just come back and I do the mouth movements and facial twitches and that sort of thing. So I would say that recording the voices comes when it's about 3/4 of the way done with the animation. So it's towards the end for certain.
Yeah. Okay. How about Dominic? What about you?
I write it and then I get the voices as soon as I can, and I like a crew that can improvise, and then my writing's better. Definitely. But I won't animate until I have that, because then I do it all at once, kind of like I'll have a shot I really want to draw, so I could, if I'm in a mood of just drawing and listening to YouTube or something, I can do that. I like the idea of it being kind of like play a little, put little pieces on it until it grows, and then, like for instance, then I can be like, it's almost done, but I need somebody to say this one line, and then I can add that or something. But I definitely think the voices help me for the timing, because I really want it to feel organic, and that feeds it too, because then you can play it back and go, this is feeling like a real thing, and now I'm not floundering,
Do you script to a thumbnail?
I'll script in a script writing program, that's what you
Okay,
mean.
so it'll be all text, and then from there you'll like if you do storyboard it or if you do thumbnails, you'll do it from the script.
Yeah, especially because if I have a whole cast, I want to give them a script too. So,
Yeah, I know it's tricky. It's tricky.
what do you
Yeah.
do?
Well, a little bit of everything, but for the most part, like the one I'm working on right now, I have scene by scene. I'll collect the dialogue from people, but I'll at the same time start work on the artwork. So like right now, I finished the first opening scene of the thing I'm working on, but I only have one voice recorded from someone, and I need to get 2 other characters done. But I'll be getting those like in 2 weeks. I'll have everything I need from everybody, and so the artwork will catch up with if it makes any sense. This is the luxury and the pain about when you're working alone is you get your work method down, but it can sometimes be a little bit chaotic because everyone's not on the same page with the script and everything, and like, oh, we know where we're going next, but I have it. So when I was doing everything myself, it was the same method, but it's myself, so I don't have to worry. But just to give you an example, I have in this opening scene, there's 4 characters that have lines. I have lines for one of them. And his line is a response line to somebody, so I don't have the original line that he's responding to yet. I'll have that in a couple weeks when I sit with the person that's going to do that character. And also, I've been recording for the last 4 projects. I've been recording remotely with people on the phone. Like if iPhone has been the best, or even Android, but I just have them record their on their phones their dialogue and just send it to me, and then I can EQ it myself. But that's a huge advantage because you don't have to book a studio for one. You don't have to have somebody come over and record everything. And
Do
and then
you tell them to go stand in their closet? That's a great place to record.
Yeah.
only when they're bad. I'll tell them.
Only when they're bad.
I said, go think about what you just did, and then come back, and then you try it again. And then, no, but I have had people like the people I work with the same voice actors all the time, like a small crew, and they've all know now. Like the first time I recorded with my friend, he sent me the lines back, and they were great, but there was a huge echo because he recorded them in his kitchen with like tile and stuff. So I told them, hey, go record somewhere where you have carpet or where there's no echo. And from then on, I've never had an issue. That was years ago.
That's funny because I've just finished working on this show called The Furry Freak Brothers.
Yeah.
It's like a new show, but we just finished like 8 episodes. And at the beginning of COVID, everybody had to go do it at home. So they send a mic package to the actors.
I saw that, yeah.
Like Woody Harrelson or something, and it's like you could just see the stuff coming back. It's like they don't know how to use that. I don't know how good the stuff was. It took a long time before there was a good sound quality. But I think if you're an actor now and you don't have a setup at home, what are you thinking? What are you doing?
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I guess Woody couldn't record stuff on his phone. But
now, being that you're working by yourself, Jim, do you find that your scripts are a little bit more fluid?
Completely. Yeah, completely. When it's myself, another thing, I approach everything scene by scene. So I'll have the story kind of bullet pointed out, like here's what happens through that whole thing, and then I'll go to one scene and it's its own little world. And when it's me by myself, I'll just write a couple of notes, say this, and I'll ad lib, and I'll just take it from there. And sometimes I'll even I didn't expect that to come out, but I'll make something that feeds off of that. So it's if planned, improvise is such a thing, I would say it's that. But when I'm working with other people, I have to send them lines. So, and because I use the same people in the same small group of voice actors, I know which ones. There's certain people I have to send the exact lines to. Like they'll just read it, but they'll read it really well. And then there's other people I can just send, like my friend Nisam. Nisam does voice. I've worked with him since the beginning. I can just send him, hey, I need this, and he'll send me back stuff, and it'll work. I already know it's going to work, and it'll be the same as what I asked for, but different. He'll send me, So yeah, I if I need to work with a script with somebody, I've sent people like little explanations of what their character's doing, and then here's the scene, and then somebody throws a pie in the face, and then read it that. I hate doing that though. That's why I'm so used to not working off of a regular script that it just seems like I don't know. It seems like extra work, but you have to do that sometimes. So,
what's your process like, Paul?
Just like yours. For me, so I have to have a script. I write like a screenplay, and then because I have a hard time coming up with stories. Like Jim's amazing, I mean, I can't think of like a 2-minute story. It'll take me a couple of years, So when I come up with a story, I got to write it down and have it all, and I write it like a screenplay. And then I have, I send it to people, the lines to record, get all the recordings, and then I'll animate it. So I think that's pretty traditional, I guess. And then not a lot of not a lot of ad-libbing or, I don't know. In my artwork, I do like, I'm going to throw this in there. This is different. Or, a couple times I'll say, oh, here's a line, and I'll try to go back and have it re-recorded or have somebody add something. And then, of course, it's like 6 months later and the recording sounds different than the rest of their voices. So that's always kind of a mess. But, yeah, I like to have everything laid out and, yeah, not much.
Hey, Paul, just to add to that, when I was in school, I had a class where you could either give a 5-minute spoken presentation of a book report or like a 25-page written. So I always chose the spoken one, and I never read the books. I would find books that nobody checked out of the library. Oh, this is Louis L'Amour. Nobody's ever checked this out.
Right.
And so I learned this terrible lesson, but a good lesson. I learned very early on, it's like results oriented. It's kind of like, what is your end result? It doesn't matter how you get it. It's just as long as it works for the audience. So that's why I don't do the extra work a lot of times.
Yeah. No, I get that. But because like my first short that I did was just like a mess, it just went nowhere and everywhere. And so I didn't want to do that again. So I found that for me, it was having everything planned out and doing the extra work saved me extra work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got it. And your scripts too, I've read Paul's scripts, a couple of them. And the last one that you sent me, the one you haven't done yet, is like, I was like, you're going to do this? This is like a movie. It looked like a regular, like a script, like a movie script.
Like a screen. Yeah, I use the same format that you would as in a screenplay. So.
Yeah.
Which one was that?
That was the safety.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Dom. I think you might be on mute.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, it's interesting that you can. I found myself writing, and I think it needs all these words, and then once I record it and put it into the show, it's like, no, you just need him to go, oh yeah.
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 Totally.
You can overwrite. It's good to have that. Anyway, but it's
Yeah. The cutting room floor, the dreaded cutting room floor.
So I'm going to pretend like I don't know the answer to this, but Corey, what's your method like?
It's a little bit all over the place, but if I'm doing a short, like a real short, I try to avoid dialogue completely if I can get the point across with the visuals, just because I don't feel like I'm a very strong writer. And so that way I'll just kind of have an idea in my head and do it, or I'll do a little animatic. I mean, I'm working on one right now. You can kind of the other way. You can kind of see like it's pretty haphazard. This is a storyboard, and as scenes come to me, I'll scratch them out real small, like half an inch tall, and then I'll cut all that up and put it in Photoshop and start trying to piece it together. It's like somebody going into like researching a murderer and trying to figure out how the clues fit together. But I'll typically end up with a storyboard that turns into an animatic, and then I'll do a little radio play based on the animatic. And so I'll have all everything except Foley. I'll do Foley after the fact, but I'll have all the talking and everything done. Any major sounds that need to happen timed, do that to the animatic, and then I can just sometimes I'll put the animatic down and I'll animate right over the top of it. So I'll use that as like I'll break that out. If it's more complicated, I'll use that to give me like an asset list of things that need to be created. Because if I don't do that, what I found is like if I need a character, kind of like Dominic was saying, if I need a character to like do something simple, and I don't have an animatic, I will end up fully rigging a fully functional character in like full turnaround that can do like a cartwheel and karate, and I just need him to like, wave his hand or something. So the animatic saves me from the cutting room floor, because the cutting room floor for me is so painful, because it's like, oh man, it took like 3 weeks to draw and rig that character from like 3/4 front, 3/4 side, all this stuff. And so I learned my lessons. Now the animatic, it says this is the only thing you need, and I kind of try to stick pretty closely to that. It's also easier to get clients to sign off on stuff when you're like, it's gonna look like this, but it'll look good. But this is basically it. And if they make changes, then you're literally just like moving layers around in Photoshop, so you don't have to like go reanimate anything really. And then they sign off on it, and I charge them more money if they change their mind after that. So
yeah, you can tell an amateur. You can tell you could tell they animated something and they're very precious. They'll have somebody go walk up to a door and they show the whole walk cycle to the door. Right. Then they show them open the door and twist the door, and then the door.
That's where I get wrapped up in that kind of thing. And, just all these little. I'm like, oh, I can have his hand turn. Cool.
I'm like, Paul, what if his hand might have to turn? And so I'll do the whole thing. And then the scripts didn't even call for that anywhere.
Yeah.
So,
That's you definitely have to like cut your babies out of the movie sometimes. Yeah. You even like, oh, I love the way this looked, but it doesn't work. Joe, did we already ask you yet?
Yeah. I do more along the lines of what you're up to. I write a script. It's really a bunch of bullet points. The final, I do the full thing on, a fully completed script. But I've definitely been guilty of being too precious with my work. My last one that's up there, it's a 7.5 minute piece. The entire short. And it's the first 45 seconds is a little long. And I had a writing partner who said, like, you got to cut that 45 seconds. And I was like, that 45 seconds was like a month of my life. and then as I'm like a couple years away from it, I'm recognizing like, damn, I should have cut that 45 seconds.
I think I find one of the best things to do is sit down with like a friend that doesn't really know anything about it and watch one of your films with them. And then you go, as they're sitting watching those 45 seconds, and you're like, oh my God, this is taking forever. Because all of a sudden you're able to watch it through somebody else's eyes, let's see.
Yeah, I'm definitely one of those people, like with just, my illustration work, if people don't respond the way I want them to respond, I can't help but, be a little tweaked about it. So I like to just put my work out there and walk away as fast as I can, and somebody tells me it's good. Because if somebody doesn't smile or laugh where I want them to laugh, I'm like,
Yeah.
dumbass, you don't get the genius.
Yeah,
But,
from the get-go, I showed my stuff in front of audiences. Like from probably the third week after I ever even did an animatic animation, I took it to a public access, local public access, and
awesome.
yeah, so like immediately I was playing it for people right off the bat, which is something I never did when I did comics, my own comics. I never sold them, or I was a kid, but still I didn't ever pursue it in front of an audience. That's why I don't do comics. So. But so Dom, let's talk a little bit about you had about pitching, or you had asked a question about that.
Did I?
Well, you wanted to get our
Yeah, you mentioned you wanted to talk about it, because I want to talk about that too.
I mean, I don't know.
So everybody would think, Dominic, with your where you're at in your career, they would think, oh, it's easy. He just needs to walk up to the people at Fox and say, I want the 9 o'clock time slot, not the 9:30. I'll be back in 6 months.
Oh yeah, no, it takes years to make connections and stuff. And I guess I was talking about pitches in that I learned something about how it's a good thing, which is what I'm doing and what I've done in the past, which is just to make a short that sells it for you. You need to maybe have other things too, like writing and connections and stuff. But I think that I've done some other people's pilots this year, and that's sort of, they're either doing an animatic, like 5 minutes or 10 minutes long, or 3-minute color something. That's supplement, and that's something we can easily do ourselves. Have you pitched with your cartoons, Jim?
No, never have. I created a long time ago. My friend Miles and I created this idea called Sunshine and the Candyman, which I would still love to do one day. It's about a father and daughter trucker team, and and we were like really excited to pitch. But you know what? Here's my mental illness. So, I really, really believe in this. I don't believe in gatekeepers. And I know we need gatekeepers and the people that, well, you got to get past this person in order to get something on HBO, or you got to get past this person in order to get on Netflix. But I believe, for me, that the goal is to have something exist. Now, whether or not that's the final version of the thing that exists is a whole different thing. But the fact that, like, if I wanted to do a series, I did one called All That Glitters. If it was just an idea on paper, sure, I could go to somebody and pitch it, but it might change a little bit, and it might, let's cast this person instead, or if we can get this person attached, then we can do it as this. There's a million variables. But if I create the series myself and make it exist, now that series might not end up on HBO, but it might spark something. If that is my goal, it might spark, like, it exists. The series exists. Somebody might see it and go, "Wow, we could remake this." And I'm cool, like, because my version exists. So it's almost like music. The song exists, but then somebody does a cover of it and it blows up, and then you get residuals, or so that's kind of like my mentality. I like to create things that exist, and then whatever happens with them, happens with them. But I don't want them to just rest up here. I want them, and I've never gone into anywhere to pitch anything. I've never had to do that, and I've never really wanted to do that because I'm not sure even what I want. Like, I don't have a goal to, like, well, I want to get something on. I got something on Amazon. I got a few things on Amazon. That's where
that's amazing.
But now what?
Yeah, I mean,
That's amazing, Jim.
pitching is all about networking, having the networks to do it. How'd you get your stuff, like, on Amazon?
I told them, I said, you better put my stuff on there right now. No,
He was actually sitting in his kitchen yelling at his computer.
I mean, you've got stuff on Amazon. You worked with some pretty heady people. Have they all approached you?
I went to high school with Robert Amazon. My dad, Jerry Amazon. No,
Kevin Amazon. Yep.
Okay, so there's three things and three different stories. One, the first one is Revengeance. That was Shout Factory picked that up. The Almighty Shout Factory, and they distributed it, and they got, I think they got it on Amazon, as far as I know. So that's how that got it, and it's Bill Plimpton, so it was an easier path. The series,
You worked with a production company, Shout Factory. I'm sorry.
Shout Factory is a distributor. Yeah, they put out actually a lot of really cool stuff. I think they have like a lot of old '60s groups, like their archives. I'm not sure they have the Monkees, but like I wouldn't be surprised. That would be something that they have, and they have a lot of really cool underground cult movies too.
It's hard to find all the Bill Plimpton stuff on Amazon too. Some of it's just
I think they had a deal with him where they bought his catalog, or they rented it for like 3 years. Great. Somebody do that with me. Yeah.
Is that over now? Because I could go and it'll have the picture, but then it'll say it's not available.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's. I would guess it's in the arena of it being over, like around now. So it very well could be. I don't know. I'll talk to him sometime and ask him. That's a good question. The Master Freak Theater, the series, was through a company called Continuum that I a long time ago signed a deal with for them to get my stuff for TV, not even for Amazon necessarily. And they got it on a bunch of local UHF stations, which was really cool because I'd like come home and be like, rush to channel 58 and my stuff's on like regular TV, you know, with the
that's awesome.
But to me, that was like the coolest thing because it's like to see a commercial come and interrupt my stuff was actually really cool.
Right.
Yeah, it's such a cool.
But even like with them, you just submitted your work. It wasn't a pitch of sorts. It was
through a friend of mine named Steve Sievers, who was an animator as well, and he was doing stuff with them. I don't know what he was doing exactly with them, but he was doing work with them. They were and then he told them about me, and then the guy contacted me, and we met. And then he said, this was probably 6 or 7 years ago. 6 years ago, he said to me, "Would you got anything that you want to, you know?" And then I said, "What about an anthology series? Because I have a lot of material that I could assemble, and then I can create these transitions with a character, kind of like the Twilight Zone, where he's introducing a clip. And that'd be great." And it was, I have so much material already that I just had to create those in between things. So like within 2 months, I had it all ready to go, and they helped me package it, and then they got it on all these local. The goal was to get it on Amazon and Netflix and all that stuff, Hulu, but he got it on TV, and to me, I was like, that's it. Like I'm happy. This is so cool. And that lasted. Then it went through another station. It went around like 3 stations over like 4 years. And then I didn't hear anything at all. And then I saw that it was available for sale on Amazon. Like you could rent it on Amazon Prime. And I thought, oh, that's cool. It's kind of on Amazon. And that was a year ago. And then all of a sudden in 2020, I think, beginning of 2020, like out of nowhere, it's on Amazon. He wrote me an email and said, hey, your stuff's on Amazon. He goes, the first 5 episodes are up. The next 5 are coming in a couple of weeks. And now it's like that series is on Amazon. So that's like a ton of my stuff on Amazon. So that
I watched it.
That was awesome. And then I went to him again and said, hey, I have a film I really love, Infinity Pool. You think we can get that on Amazon? So I did some behind the scenes stuff where you have to do captions, get those made. And then I sent him everything he needed, show art and all that stuff. And then it took a couple months, and then all of a sudden he wrote me, hey, your stuff's on Amazon. Infinity Pool's on Amazon. So that's how those 3 got on there. I kind of used the connections through them. And I'm super happy about that because it kind of gives me a goal where to put stuff. We always talked about this, Dominic, about how we wish there was a Netflix for indie animation. Like that would be the best, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so that's my Amazon story, and I'm sticking to it. So but now what? So Dominic, you had stuff on Amazon, and it's like once you do that, it's like I don't know what to do from there. I'm like, do I just go buy a mansion right away, or what you know?
Well, with the $100 I get every year.
Yeah, but think about it. In 1,000 years,
Yeah, it'd be loaded.
you're set minus taxes. Yeah, I really don't know what to do because Paul, and you know this, Paul. We talked a while back. That was like the goal to get something on Amazon.
Yeah.
But like now that it's there,
All your dreams come true.
I just don't know how to promote it or what I'm supposed to do to promote it. You know, I'm a terrible, terrible agent or manager for myself.
Well, listen to this, guys. So I wanted to tell you guys something first. I meant to bring this up when I got on, but I was late. We have almost the entire secret society here.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like we should like make an important decision or sacrifice somebody or do something. Anyway, so I got this benefactor, my friend Ty, who I did he's got a art studio, and his wife makes these custom design hats, and he sells these hats, and he sells all kinds of artwork. And so when I first met him, I did a little short animation for him, and then I made a comic book about him and his wife being fashion superheroes. So then after a while, him and I were friends, and I made a comic book of him as Samurai Ty. It's actually pretty good, you know?
Yeah.
And the idea is, so the next thing I'm going to do is make like a 3-4 minute video, an animation to sort of accompany the comic book. And it'll be, along the same lines, the storyline will be the same as the comic book. And so, but the cool thing about that is I'm not really interested in like pitching things and I feel like you, Jim. I want to do the work and get it out there. And if people like it, great. If people see it, great. But I think I'm allergic to pitching things. So but the cool thing is if I do this with Ty, he is all about pitching it. Like he'll go to wherever, he'll go to the ends of the earth to pitch it. You know what I mean? And so that would be cool. But he wants to make $1 million from it. So that would be awesome. But I don't know.
Is he going to pitch your idea places? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, he'll pitch it like it's his.
Yeah, I think he will. But the thing is, I don't know. Maybe I'm being cynical.
So I want to get your feedback on that.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with Ty because I don't even really know Ty, but I know that you've done some really good work together. That's really cool that you're doing that. But like, whenever I see like a YouTube video on like, how to make your art $1 million, I always look at the guy and go, well, do you have $1 million? And then why are you making a video? I think the biz, as I call it, that stands for business, by the way. I think it really is, a lot of it is who you know. I know that's cold-blooded, but it's who you know, because if I was in tight with, let's say, like Jonah Hill, then I would have Jonah Hill's contacts, or Favreau, or John Favreau. Well, I don't know. Dominic.
I was gonna say John Favreau here.
Yeah.
Looking great. By some way.
Yeah. But I really do believe it is a big chunk of it's who you know or who you can get. Who you can get, like, I'm doing my next animation. It's going to have Leonardo DiCaprio as the main voice, and I think it's going to get a lot more buzz than what I would normally do. So I don't know. I think I'm the first person. Maybe I'm not the first person. So other people will say this, but I have no idea what I'm doing. So that's part of promotion.
I guess I just don't want. I don't want to pitch it. even if I knew people, you know.
Pitching a show it takes more than a can-do attitude. It has, you have to know somebody first off, and there's people who are professional pitch artists.
Yeah, plus it's just brutal.
That's what they do.
It's just brutal. I think I'm just way too insecure, you know.
Yeah, there's that too. I mean, I've worked in film and television as in an art department for 10 plus years, and just bouncing around your ideas to producer folks and then going, yeah, it's a fun idea. And then, you know, and that's it.
Yeah.
That can have a, you know.
So here's what's really, this is really exciting to me and has been for a long time. I get really excited when I see really crappy movies, low budget, like movies that exist and animations that exist and stuff, because it gives me hope. Because I'm like, well, they got that made. Yeah.
Jim, wait till you see my next one.
I am so inspired by you, Paul. No, but I mean, I see that, and I'm like, they got this made, and I've always,
they were really good at the pitch part and not at the idea part.
There's professional pitch artists out there.
Well, maybe no. I think in those cases, Dominic, I think it's they hooked up with a studio that just wanted to put something out, but it's not going to do anything for your career, and you're hardly going to get paid, but you'll be doing most of the work. Okay, I'll do it. You know, I just think, like, you know, I have a friend. I will not name his name because he might be embarrassed if but he's got a movie that he wrote. He really wrote it himself, but they gave credit to the producer as one of the writers. But it's a really like schlocky, like space aliens versus, you know, machine guns versus, you know, and it's on Netflix, and it is nothing like what he normally does, because what he normally does is really smart and really cool, and, you know, but he got it made because the studio that this. It's as simple as this. A producer had a lot of money and says, I want to make a movie about machine guns and aliens. Okay. I don't know what it is about, but go write it. Okay. How's this? More explosions. Okay. How's this? This is good. But I'm the co-writer. Okay. You know, and that's how it got made. And I don't want to do that myself, but I'm just saying, I don't know. It takes a lot, you know. I think I have a better shot at making something really low budget, you know, and there's less pressure too when it's low budget like that, you know. I think it's kind of I equate it to this. You're the comic book artist and you're taking over Batman. Everyone's going to eyeballs on you, expectations. It's like a no-win. It's like,
right.
You know, but if you're taking over, you know, Captain Carrot, you know, you can do something really cool with it because people are like, well, I don't really like that. That's, you know, not top tier. But you do something really remarkable with that. They're like, it's a win-win because they weren't expecting you to win. And then not only that, but you've done something really cool and you've made this thing cool. Not that Captain Carrot's not cool, but you know what I'm saying. But I kind of like that. I kind of like the making something out of nothing a little bit rather than like, I want top tier everything. I want to animate with silver ink, you know.
I think I saw Terrence Howard say he dropped out of the Avengers because he doesn't play. I don't play second fiddle.
I think I saw him playing fiddle by the bus stop, actually. I don't know, Corey. I've never asked you this, Corey. What about you? I mean, have you ever been in a situation where you pitched something to?
I feel like I just started. So I mean, I didn't start drawing until I was 32, and I didn't start animating until I was 38. So
wow.
I don't know. I feel like I've got about 10 years ahead of me before I know what I'm doing yet. So
we're gonna send Corey to pitch our ideas from now on. So.
Yeah, right.
Right, that's a good idea. Yeah, that'll go really well. But I also live in an area where I'm not going to bump into somebody at work or something, or you know, there's no physical networking opportunities when you live in the middle of the desert. So I don't know. I'd love to have stuff. I've done some children's books. I've done some, all my own stuff. I've done some comics. I've done some illustrations, and I just kind of put it out there. And if somebody wanted to do something with it, that'd be great. If that'd be awesome. But I'm kind of comfortable just making stuff. I've never pitched stuff. I have looked for a literary agent, kind of shopped around a bit, but I do the dumb thing where I'm like, who's the top agent that made the most money last year, and that's the guy that I pitch. Not the hungry guy who's willing to take on some unknown, but I'm like, that guy did like a $500,000 deal. Yeah, I'll talk to him. And I've gotten on the phone with a few of those people. That some of them called me back, and we've talked for a little bit. Nothing really came of it, but so I don't know. I self-medicate with creation. Like it's what keeps me sane-ish.
Oh yeah.
And so if I spend too much time in self-promotion, I start to get a little twitchy. So I've never really done too much with it, to be honest. I think the most I did was that animated short. I spent a good couple months shopping it around. I can't remember exactly, but I made it into dozens of film festivals and won, I don't know, half a dozen of them or something. So that was a lot of self-promotion that I don't normally do. Mainly as
if COVID wouldn't have hit, would you have traveled to a lot of those?
Yeah, so that sucked because I had this is the conspiracy theorist in me, or maybe the cynic, but I had a above a 40% acceptance rate until the lockdown happened, and then it went to 0. And all of a sudden I just started getting rejections. Like I got rejections, right? I was rejected more than I was accepted, but almost half of them were accepting me. And then all of a sudden they couldn't have their festivals, but I don't think they wanted to refund everybody the entrance fee. So everybody just started getting rejected.
Right.
And so I got rejected for about 8 months. And then I started getting accepted again on the ones that I think were a little bit maybe more honest.
Are they all virtual now? Everybody's doing like a virtual festival?
Yeah, I did a few of those. There was a couple of them that kind of double clutched. Like their show got canceled, and like in DC there was one that did like a virtual one, and they like locked it down, and you had to pay to enter or pay to see it. So there were still like tickets and everything. And then I did 2 others where they had like virtual remote, like where they would have you on and talk about your show after it aired live with the audience there, and that was cool. There was one in Africa that kept showing it, and then they just got really excited about it, and so they were kind of pitching it and doing stuff with it. So yeah, it was interesting. And then now I haven't done anything for that in a long time but had COVID not hit, yeah, I would have gone to a few of the ones. Like there was one that it played in Rome, and they were like angry at me for not coming. And I was like, they're like, you won, you have to come. I'm like, it's in Rome. Like I'm not gonna spend $5,000 to go watch a 2.5 minute video that I made. I can see that here for free. If you want to fly me there, I will come. But they're like, oh, we don't have the budget for that. And I said, yeah, I don't have the budget for that either. So, if you want me to record something, I'll record something. But they're kind of upset. But yeah, locally, I don't mind driving 8 hours or 12 hours or something if it's something that fits into my schedule. But if I can't drive there in a day, I'm probably not going. So that's
I'll go as far as Long Beach.
Yeah. Well, when you live in Yellowstone, LA is it's not a quick trip, but it's shorter. It's only 12 hours, so it's shorter than it takes to drive to my parents' house. So as I age,
there was a time, a while, about a 5-year period where I was throwing my own festivals, animation festivals, just so I could show my new stuff.
I met you there, probably.
Oh yeah. Probably one of those. Yeah, it was fun. They were great. We usually would do them at comic book shops or like the back of an art shop or whatever. They were really guerrilla underground. I still have the projector, and great for meeting people. Great for getting an audience reaction. Great for the ego sometimes because if you have a packed house, because it's such a small place, but terrible for your nerves because of technical problems. Oh, I hated that. I hated being in. Because, like, if something goes wrong, like, oh, hey, Jim, what's with your sound? It's the worst. But
I wasn't there complaining about your sound.
no.
Last time I was at I screened my film, I did the same. I paid to screen it at Meltdown. Man, I'm glad I did because then the next year they closed down.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I saw. Where did we see yours at? I saw yours. It wasn't at Meltdown. It was in LA somewhere.
Was there a fire at Meltdown?
Sorry?
Was there a fire there?
No, they just closed it. They went out of business.
Yeah, just went out of business.
Excuse me.
Unless
Yeah.
that's a Joe joke.
Up and then what?
Unless Joe's making a pun.
No, I'm not. I thought there was legitimately a fire either there and directly next door, and they were like, oh gosh, on our last day, there's a fire here.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Maybe I got that.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
I'll do a quick Google search on that.
Fire at Meltdown. Use joke.
Meltdown Comics, yeah.
No.
So Dom, what are you doing about promoting, or what are you gonna pitch? Or
I have a few connections. Actually, I pitched Lovesick Fool as a series, and it just takes forever. And I even had a great agent who didn't want to take it around, so it wasn't that great in the end. But
There was a fire there, by the way.
What?
Yeah, but
I just did a quick Google search. I was like,
Oh my god.
there on the last day.
on the very last day, it burned down.
What? That sounds suspicious.
Hey man, you gotta get your insurance money somehow. Better late than never. Anyway, sorry to
Sorry, I
interrupt.
don't hear the rest of what Dominic was saying. So you had an agent and he wasn't shopping it around.
Yeah, I'm just and then I'd meet producers and then people, and yeah, it was just. So now I feel like I have like 3 solid things. I'll take my new show, go to those 3 places, up or down, and I'm out. But kind of like I think what's great about what we all kind of have realized through our lives is like you just have to create. That's just what you do. That's just your job. I know because there's other people that will not be self-motivated and they want this kind of trajectory to get to this end point. But I like to draw stuff and make funny jokes. What
Two of us on this chat.
you don't want permission to do that? What?
There's 2 of us on this chat, and they're both right there. Paul and Corey both tried to out. Well, they did. There were certain projects in their careers that they didn't really have the time to do or the energy to do, and they both made outrageous bids, and the clients went for it in their past, in their history of their careers. This has happened to them.
yeah,
I've never been brave enough to do that because I don't know. I'm just not.
yeah.
But,
I did 3 times what I thought he would pay, and he was like, "All right, cool. When do we start?" And I was like, "Oh crap!" So now I just say, "No, I'm not doing anything."
I get video animation, music video requests all the time. Like I usually get at least a couple a month requests. And at first, I did a couple. I would do them at first, but I just don't have. It's not worth it to me. It just isn't.
Well, is it not worth it, or are you just not charging enough? Because I bet there's a price that would make it worth it.
Perhaps.
And if you're getting 2 or 3 a month, you'll need one of those people to say.
But I think the people that are requesting it, I don't think they're, or maybe they are. But
you never know.
That's the thing is you think, okay, well,
Right.
they don't want to pay $500 a minute. You know?
Right.
Not
So I'll
really
just charge you
right.
$1,500 a minute. So they got a
No,
4-minute song, so that's $6,000.
I have a
Yeah.
friend.
I'll tell you what, Jim. This is what you do the next time that happens. Take your day job salary and multiply it by 1.5, and whatever the project is, that's the bid. And then 99 out of 100 people are going to turn you down. And then the one that does, you got a couple months where you got to work really hard, and you just made your year's nut.
Whew. All right, that's
Sounds simple.
If you have the opposite problem of most artists, where you have too many people that want your work, then that's that supply and demand. So the price goes up with limited supply and a lot of demand. That drives.
I get the feeling though. It's usually a kid in his room, but maybe I could be wrong. You know,
Yeah, get the money. Get the money up front.
No, I just feel weird. Like they'd be like, "I hate you, and you made me cry." Yeah, I don't know, but
Yeah.
I don't have like the enthusiasm to do them either. But the truth of the matter is, I can actually tell them, "Hey, I'm sorry. You know, I'm flattered, but I'm working on a film right now," and that's actually truth. I mean, you guys, know what it takes you put into a film, you know. So I don't know. I know I'm also very guilty of stepping on my own toes when it comes to success and stuff. But yeah,
I mean, it depends on what your goals are. I mean, for me, I have a job that covers my expenses really well, that I enjoy, and it's not like sapping my will to live. So
right.
I'm not in I'm not in the creation for the money, but if I'm being honest, you know, I'll be a mercenary if there's enough money on the table.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to ask. We'll do one round table question that it's been burning. I want to, and then we'll wrap it up after that. But really think about it. I'll even volunteer my answer first, so you guys can have some time to think. But what would be the ideal scenario for your career? I know that's a big question, but I'll give you my example. All right, I thought about this. My example would be to do what I'm doing now, to design these films, keep writing these films, keep creating these films, and put them out with some sort of distribution deal that pays my bills and more, and that residuals can come back later. But to have a very small team helping to work on them. So basically, to have my own studio making my own films with my own small crew, very small crew, would be like the ultimate thing. Because I don't really have it's not part of my goal to be like, I want a television show or I want this or that. I like doing these one-off movies. I like that's kind of like, I don't know, it feels right. So if
That's a Bill Plimpton kind of scenario.
that, you know what's funny? Okay, so I described that one time to somebody, and my friend was it Lonnie Millsap? Might have been him. He goes, "Idiot, you already got it. That you did that with Bill Plimpton already." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. I didn't. Yeah, but but that was a collaboration, and that, as much as he says that's a Jim Lujan film, it's a Bill Plimpton film, you know, as well as mine. It's both of us, and that wasn't my studio, and that wasn't, you know." No, I would love that. I would love for the films to pay for themselves and keep delivering money back. You know, I just want money for nothing and the chicks for free. Okay. But,
Hey, Jim, this is an interesting question. Can we tag on to this answer? Like, what you guys love about what you do? Like, because
yeah.
all the work that you guys do, and I've only met you recently.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you, like I love, I love it when I create a cool walk cycle, or I love it with the way something edits together. Like I'm finding like different things kind of make me jazzed about it, you know?
Yeah, for me, it's characters. I love when I create a character, or if I see something that sparks a character in my mind, and the character, like, it's like it materializes in front of my eyes, and I'm just like translating it to paper, and that character kind of tells their own story. Like, I like it when a story leads me into it. And that's just exciting to me.
And you're great at that. So that's cool that you're great at what you love.
Yeah. Thank you. And I wish I loved money more. That's next, hopefully. So there's my long-winded answer. Let's jump over. You know what, Dominic, take the torch from there. You continue upon your answer. Elaborate.
Damn. I guess I like cool timing. Like, I like it when everything comes together. You got your voice, and you got your music, and your picture, and it just clicks for having a beautiful moment, whether it's funny or something cool about it. So I'm like not a fetishist about it. Like, I don't care how it moves or the characters stuff. I just want that moment to be kind of poetic and work on such a level that I feel like I've attained something nice.
Yes, I love it, and Lovesick Fool is a really good example. It has such a good flow to it. It's so natural. It just works. If there was a quote I could put on a poster of your movie, I would say it just works. It's very enjoyable. I love that film.
And the second part of the question, or I guess the first part of the question, what's your dream work scenario?
I think to have a show somewhere where I get money and also get to be in charge. But I'm not going to hold my breath. But that would be nice.
So, like, as a showrunner?
Yeah. In charge of, like, the scripts and the whole deal.
That'd be cool.
I love it. Well, that's why we're going to start our own network. So
we got we got the parts right here.
yes, definitely. All right, Joe. What about you? What do you love? First, what do you love about what you
I love to make people laugh. It's I like to have an idea that resonates first within me, and then someone else sees it and goes, "That's a funny idea." I love coming up with what I think is a genuinely original idea that people go, "No, that's a funny concept." So in my drawing and all my work and stuff, it's always humorous in nature. So I'm first getting people to laugh. In dream scenarios, same with Dominic. I mean, I would like to have a TV show of some sort. But in the meanwhile, I'm happy to do what I'm doing, which is, the children's books, the editorial illustrations, and that sort of work. So the dream is definitely to be writing and producing on like a series of some sort. But yeah, generally I'm contented. I would like more money. Like Jim, I would like more money. But if I could get anyone to laugh, then I guess that's all.
Ask them for more money, and they'll laugh. You're like, thank you.
Yeah.
Joe, you got to watch my short and see what happens when my character asks for more money.
Yeah.
That's the twist ending.
All right, and Corey, what about you?
I don't know. When I don't make stuff, I don't feel right. So I guess that's my favorite thing, is feeling right in the world as a creator. I think humans in general don't do well when we're not making stuff, like when we numb ourselves into thinking that we're supposed to be entertained all the time rather than like creating. So there's that. But I like problem solving in animation. Like one of the most entertaining things to me is to like think, if this character moves his arm this way, what's going to happen to this half of his jacket and to the other half of his jacket? And so like I'll do these stupid things that probably nobody notices, but like I'll go in and like link different layers to other layers and then put it in an equation so that there's like a diminished or exaggerated response to another layer moving. I like that a lot.
That's
like-
my hero.
No, it's so fun. Like you'll have like, you know, if he rotates his arm, you know, 10, then his jacket will rotate, you know, 10 divided by 0.3, you know, and if his jacket rotates 10 divided by 0.3, then his other side would go, you know, times -1. I find that to be really entertaining because then I just like optimize
You're
it.
insane.
I know.
I love
I'm right
that.
there with you. I love when that stuff falls in line. That's
Isn't
awesome.
it cool though? Like everybody's laughing at me. So Joe's
No,
like,
no, it's great, Corey.
I actually share that same sentiment.
yeah, no, I love it. It's so cool to be like, because like in reality, I love doing stuff where people say like, oh, that looks so natural, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
that's interesting because that was like 3 weeks of me like doing it wrong
Yeah.
15 times a day until I figured out like what actually happens in reality. Like Jim and I were working on that one Unchained Aggression, and my favorite thing of that whole thing, no one will notice. My favorite thing in the whole thing is like, you know how your cornea bulges out of your eye a little bit? This is my favorite thing in that whole thing. When the character looks down and looks over to the left and the right, I had his lower eyelid bulge outward, then wrap around the cornea on a close-up shot so that as he looks, like the eyelid bulges. And I did it where I didn't have to do frame by frame. Like I rigged it in such a way that I could just move the eye around and the eyelid would respond
Whoa.
accordingly. And so like,
Oh, wow.
I like
Cool.
that.
That
That's
is cool.
My favorite thing was the explosions.
Wait, I'm trying to think if we had any explosions. I
was
did.
trying to think of the dumbest thing.
There was
Yeah,
an awesome
I
fight.
animated explosions are cool. Like that's another thing I tried to figure out for a short I did a long time ago. I actually watched Fury Road frame by frame, like in a couple scenes, just to like see how like dust develops over time with wind. And then I tried to figure out a way to like I'll link that up to one joystick so that I could just like drift it in and out if I wanted to. I never actually got there, but I will. That's because that's a short I'm going to finish in the future.
Yeah, that's why you were laughing when I had this question. You were like,
Yes.
I have something crazy I'm really into.
Yeah. This is the type of thing where like you talk to normal people that just do like normal boring things and they're like, I don't even understand what you're saying, but it sounds really weird. But like you talk to people who do it and they have a very visceral reaction. Either they're like, I love that too, or they're like, that's my least favorite thing ever. Like, no one's on the fence on like, you know.
You know what I think that stems from, like you were saying, is that you're relatively new to it, completely self-taught, and so when it falls into line, you're going like, "Eureka! This is awesome!" And I have that same sort of appreciation. So I understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, because just like maybe a week ago, I wouldn't even have known how to do anything like that, and now I can. It's like, you know, my video game character avatar of myself is gaining new abilities and weapons as I go through this life.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that's kind of fun. But I think mainly with all of my work, whether it be animation or illustration or whatever else, I just like making people think. That's like my favorite thing. Like if you look at a lot of my stickers and t-shirt designs, I'm not trying to make people think something specific. Like it's not like I want to convince everybody of this. I like raising questions about society and having people go, oh, that is kind of messed up. I never really thought about that. They can draw their own conclusions from it, but I like raising questions because when things are questioned, I think that's like the catalyst for like change. And so that's a big driving factor just in my creation in general, which I think makes a lot of my stuff probably kind of boring because it's probably a little preachy or whatever. But I try not to like shove things down people's throats. I just try to like shine like when you turn the lights on or you shine a flashlight into the corner and like the cockroaches like run away. I like making stuff that causes the cockroaches to run away.
And that's the quote on his book.
Right. Yeah.
Corey, you made me think when we worked together. I was like, I think I'm gonna go insane because he's.
I think I'm never going to collaborate with Corey again. 'Cause that was
No, and we stayed friends. That's the testament of how we work together. Actually, we joke about it all the time, Corey, but we really did work really well together. We just were two sides of a coin, though.
if I'm being honest, we started working really well together when you finally gave in and did an animatic.
Yes, for sure. That saved our lives. Yeah, for sure. I think that was a lesson. Yeah.
Is there a project you guys did that we can watch sometime?
Yeah, it's up. It's called Unchained Aggression. It's on Jim's YouTube. I've got a link. Hold on. If you go to
So you animated it, Corey?
yeah, so he wrote it and did the voices and created all the assets, and then I animated it.
I'll check that out.
You know, I watched one of the videos where you guys were discussing the production of it,
Right.
and it gave me flashbacks to because I had a writing partner, and Jim was giving you direction, and I was going like, "Oh, this is not gonna end well." It gave me some sort of weird anxiety.
Yeah, it's interesting.
We survived it somehow, though.
I liked that project. It did give. I think both of us came away with that with an appreciation for things that we do ourselves. But there is some freedom to just being able to kind of like, switch gears and do whatever you want in the middle of a project. And when you're not the writer, you feel like I can visually I could do stuff, but like I couldn't say like I want the story to go in this direction because it wasn't my story. So.
And there really wasn't a story. That made it easy too.
Yeah.
No, Corey is 100% right. When things went a lot smoother and it's funny because I think it was like a lesson Corey taught me without even telling me. He's like, Jim's going to come around and we're going to do an animatic watch. And then when I was like, hey, Corey, I got an idea. Why don't we do an animatic so this will go smoother? And Corey's like, he's levitating. Like, yes. Yeah. But and it did. It went a lot smoother.
You made that sound like I was some sort of magnanimous partner in that, but the whole time I was like, dude, I don't know what you want. Like, what do you want me to do with this? Like, where is this going? Like, how long is the fight scene? Because that was our biggest thing is he kept saying, oh, and then they'll have a fight scene at the end, and he would toss that out like an offhand comment, like maybe we'll go to lunch. Maybe we'll grab some Applebee's on Tuesday. It was like that. It was like, oh yeah, and then they'll have a fight scene at the end. And I'm like, to me, as the person making it move, I was like, can I know about that? Can you tell me like what that is?
Don't worry, it won't be much of a fight.
Like, what is happening here?
Quick fight. Don't worry, not much of a fight.
Yeah, that was your answer every time. Oh, it won't even be that big of a deal. I'm like, dude, you better show me what's going on at some point in time.
And then
Anyway.
And then everything worked, and everyone lived happily ever after. The end.
Did Paul answer the questions yet?
No, Paul's next. Paul, you got the.
I did want to say, as far as like what you're talking about, Corey, about like getting really jazzed about doing, discovering how to do this. I do that same thing.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do that. What I want to achieve, a level of expertise that I feel like, okay, I'm good at this. I can do this, and I can tell a story, and I can do it, tell a story, and then finish it, and then tell another story. Like
okay,
Jim.
I have a question, Paul.
So, but I get hung up on these little things, like, well, let me figure out how to do this, and then I'm not, going towards my goal. So,
do you think you really want that, or do you want that? Because here's what I found.
Okay.
I used to think that I wanted to be satisfied in life. Like I was discontent that I had a personality that was constantly not satisfied with things. And then I realized that that's who I am. Like I will never be satisfied with anything. So I'm wondering, do you wish that you could be satisfied and that's where that feeling is? Or like if somebody could wave a wand and you could just know how to do all of the things, would you all of a sudden be like, and now I'm going to take up sculpting?
Right. Yes, you've nailed me, Corey. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. That's it. So But
I think a lot of artists are just
I know.
satisfied people.
I'm cursed with it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't think about that, Corey. So stop it.
Corey, if you make Paul cry, I'm just saying.
Stop making me think. Ugh.
If you have like 500 hours of you talking to a camera on YouTube like I do, you start thinking about all kinds of weird stuff about yourself that you wouldn't normally think about. Sorry.
Well, what I think I want is a level of expertise, like I said, that I'm comfortable with. Like, I've done some things where I'm like, I like that. Most things that I've done, I cringe at. But I want to get to be where I can do something, be somewhat satisfied with it, and feel like I'm decent at it, and then be able to do it again. That's really what I think I want.
Yeah.
As far as a career, I want to be able to do that and get paid for it.
Yeah.
And I think cool. So what I find my favorite thing that when making animated shorts that I've done, my favorite thing about it is when I write something and then somebody does the voice in a way that cracks me up or is really creative. That collaboration, that is one of my favorite things. So I think like if I had a dream career, it would be to get to work with people that that were very creative and did things that just really I thought were awesome. I mean, that collaboration part of it is really, I think, is great. So that's probably the most fun I've had of doing my animated shorts. Is just some of the acting that people have done for the voice acting, which is hilarious, So, but I hope that answers the question, Jim.
Yes, and no tears.
Yeah, Corey.
We got some good comments in the chat real quick. Hold on.
So, yeah.
Just another guy named Harry says, with Invincible, which I am super excited about because I don't know, you can't see it in the shot, but I've got like 2 feet of my shelves are like Invincible comics. With Invincible premiering a week from Friday and the new animated projects like Critical Role adaptation and AMC's Pantheon series, I hope that the 2020s will see a resurgence of stream-friendly and indie-friendly projects. American Pop must live again. So yeah, I actually think one of the reasons that I got into animation is about 5 years ago, I thought, I think this is going somewhere. I think like the technology is getting cheap enough. The like the delivery mechanisms are becoming fast enough. It's kind of like social media, like in the early 2000s was all text, because the delivery mechanisms for social media, like delivery mechanisms for thing online was just the bandwidth was small. Like, nobody had these little glass rectangles in their pocket that could like grab stuff out of space. Right. And then as the consumers caught up to what people wanted to make, and the technology allowed that to happen, now you start to see pictures and then video, and then now there's automation. And what I'm reading is like, I think a ton of stuff that people traditionally make money off of in the creative arts is going to be automated. Like Adobe is actively seeking to put graphic designers out of business. And I think animation and hand illustration are going to be one of the few things that like last in that, because like there's stuff now where you can put it on a camera and the thing on the camera will go look up, it'll look at that shot and it'll go look up like all types of different things and analyze a bunch of stuff, and it'll set the exposure for you and it'll suggest several compositions and you just push a button and do it. And I mean, we're decades away from that replacing DPs, right? But like automation is happening, and so anything with the human element in the creation, I think, is going to become more valuable because everything else will become so ubiquitous and so whatever the opposite of scarce is, that it'll do it. So I agree. I think we're coming in. We're about to hit a just a boom for indie animators. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I think people are going to crave.
We can all work at home. That's the beauty too.
Yeah, this last year was super interesting in that Hollywood shut down except for animation.
Yeah, and I remember working on Rick and Morty, and like when you're starting to do layoffs, all the people from like who are like in Spain or working far away, they'd be the first ones because we can't communicate with them. But now like everybody is in a different state right now that I work with.
Right.
That's fine. So that's the new normal, probably.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, animation is one of those things where like somebody in Kansas and somebody in Estonia and somebody in UK and somebody in California can all do a project together, whereas you can't do that in live action. So anyway.
Well, I know I'm in the state of confusion constantly, so.
So yeah.
Well, I think.
Were there any
know
other
what?
comments?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a couple more.
comments.
Some person was asking, I'm just wondering, is it true that all animators got a head injury at some point in time? I heard this from another animator.
All animators? Well, most of
I
them.
know this one did.
Of course.
I don't think you need one to be crazy.
Yeah,
That's the only requirement.
I think to choose to do something that is really hard makes you a unique person. And I think most people look at that as some sort of, any aberration from the normals tends to be scary.
We choose to do these things not because they're easy, but because they are hard.
I recognize that you're quoting someone.
I choose to do it for the
I just made that up. You should write that down, somebody.
I do it for the chicks.
You do it for the chicks? Does animation get you a lot of chicks, Paul?
Oh God, you guys wouldn't even believe. You wouldn't even believe it. Beating down my door. Right.
And, Salazar Art Nation he always teases up these plugs. So Frank's asking, what if I want to learn to make indie animation? Is there a playlist on somebody's channel where I can watch videos about making animations, preferably one on the government watch list? Jim and I have.
I could say watch mine, and you can see what not to do.
What did we call that? Unchained? Now I'm forgetting. Breaking the
Chains.
Breaking the Chains. If you want to watch 12 episodes of two guys fighting over what they want to do in their collaboration. And then I have.
That's not fighting.
No, I'm trying to make it more interesting than us arguing about file formats for an hour.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. And you can watch a ton of animation demos and things on Corey's channel too. So
yeah, I have one playlist called AI to AE that if you understand Illustrator or Photoshop, it'll teach you After Effects. So there's that one.
Yeah. So, well, let's give our plugs and let's call it a night because it's about 3:30 in the morning where Paul's at, I'm sure. So
I'll go first. PaulPate.com. PaulPate.com. Check me out.
Check them out. Paul
I
Pate.
should put all these up on the screen, but you guys are probably going to go faster than me.
Yes. All right. I'll go
put
next.
these in the description after. So
you go to jimluhan.com, but also look me up on Patreon. Jim Luhan at patreon.com. If any of y'all have patrons, mention it because it's a great way to support indie animation. Just throw us some love if you get a chance. And I got some love for you back. All right, Corey, go ahead.
Just same, CoreyKerr.com will take you to everywhere. I've got a new YouTube show that I'm doing called the Indie Review Show, where we'll cover comics and cartoons and stuff that inspire us. And I am covering Scotty Young's Wizard of Oz series that he did tomorrow night. And so you can go check that out on the channel that you're watching it on right now. So you can do that. Dominic?
You can check out my work at whitehippousa.com. I have a shop where I sell some apparel and shirts and other nonsense. I also have a children's book series called White Hippo, or called Bojo the Hippo.
Nice.
Bojo, he's getting eaten by a owl, and it's my stained wall. But White Hippo USA. Check me out.
My film is on Amazon. We talked about already. Lovesick Fool, Love in the Age of Like, and that's for $2. But for free, I have a bunch of stuff on YouTube under the channel Animation Vault, and there's a bunch of free shorts. I did a lot of shorts based on Game of Thrones, spoofing Game of Thrones, kind of Mad Magazine
Yeah.
style.
Those are good.
And
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who as well. And
Okay.
also one from Twin Peaks. Yeah. That's
I love Twin Peaks.
all I got.
Looking up my skirt there for a minute, Dominic.
If we had a theme song, we could all sing it like the Brady Bunch. We can look at each other. The youngest one in curls. So. All right. Well, I think we should call it a night. Thank you, guys. That was awesome.
Guys, it was a pleasure. Yes, nice meeting you all.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Joe. Good to see you again.
Yes,
Dominic.
Paul, Corey, Dominic, Jim, as always.
All right, you guys. And
Corey,
thank you, Corey,
too.
for hosting this.